I don't know. It's
I think
been
he's in over his head. I think the diversity hires are officially in over their heads.
absolutely. He wasn't even. They didn't even find the guy. It was 4chan that found the guy, and then it wasn't even them
He
that
turned
that caught him.
himself in.
The dad made him turn himself in.
Oh,
So
we caught him in 33 hours, sir. 33 hours. No, you did. You didn't catch anybody.
yeah, there's a lot about this case. I mean, a very weird week for America has occurred since the last show. Was this Wednesday that this happened?
Yes, September 10th.
September 10th. It's almost been a full week. Um,
9/11 Eve.
that's right. And this happened, and I mean, I feel like a lot of people have felt like they've changed a little bit. I think, I mean, I feel like I've changed a little bit. Do you feel that way?
I don't think I've changed. I feel like what happened on September 10th was a paradigm shifting event for many people. I don't think we live like you would say you don't live in the same world as you did after 9/11 2001. I don't think we live in the same world that we did 9/9 2025.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think I've spoken to a lot of people on the left, mostly a lot of people on the right as well, and there were definitely various phases. It was almost like a grief, the grieving process, where it was really sad and angry. I just got angry right away, real quick, and I was dealing with that anger, and then I got sad when I thought about Erica and the two small children, and then I flip flopped between those for the next 4 or 5 days after that.
Yeah, my biggest thing, I was in shock at first, in disbelief really, until I saw the video. And when I saw the first video, it was from the distant camera where, Kirk is very small on the screen, but you can see the jolt in his body when he's hit. And I watched it twice and was pretty certain that he was gone
Yeah, me
after
too.
watching that. And then after that came the up close video that everyone sees if you look for it now. And that was just confirmation. I mean, whenever someone locks up like that, that is a nervous system critical blow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was bad. I texted my family too. I think I didn't fully understand the gravity of the situation right away, but I texted my family. I go, I think we might be on the precipice of something, so be vigilant and be prepared. Because it was we were talking last week about the Ukrainian woman that got stabbed in the throat on the train,
Yes.
and I sent that in the text. I go, like they just shot Charlie Kirk, and he's not going to make it. And I think we're on the precipice of something. And so, you should. Effectively, I was telling my family, get guns. That was my initial reaction, and I think a lot of people had that reaction too. I had a lot of friends that reached out to me, moderate people, moderate friends, people from like these. They were born and raised in like the suburbs of big cities, know nothing about guns or never had any sort of outdoor thing, asking me about home defense weapons and guns. And, I really think an invisible wall was passed, like an invisible threshold, similar to 9/11. And what's really kind of shocking about it in my conversation with those on the left is it really feels like they don't realize that to the
Yeah.
capacity. It's like 50% of the country realizes that everything has changed, and the other 50% thinks nothing has changed, and they're acting as
Well,
such.
and I want to say something here before we go any further. Um, we usually bring clips to discuss, and we'll present clips from the media from the past week and then dissect those and analyze those. Just kind of in a loose format. I think you should expect tonight to be a lot of talking and not a lot of clips. We do have some clips, but there's no way we could have clipped every piece that we'll probably touch on here. And to that point, and to wrap back into your point that you were making there, the media was latching on to this idea of the response from conservative podcasters and activists is that there's a war now, that this is a war, and they were berating that observation. I think that is what most people realized who realized that something changed. The reason that people on the left or in the center leaning left, and they're in those online spheres, the reason they don't think anything has changed is because they don't consider themselves to be targets in frankly, a hot war now. And the people on the right are rightly thinking if they want Charlie Kirk dead, if I ever got any notoriety for what I believe, somebody would want to kill me too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I think, you know, one of the things that I posted, I know I don't post on Instagram or Facebook, but I did was right away I posted, I am Charlie. And, you know, a lot of people are posting that I am Charlie as well. But for me, you know, he's a 31-year-old guy, 2 kids and a wife, espouses his beliefs in front of people every week. I'm a 32-year-old guy with 2 kids on the way, and I have this podcast. And again, yeah, no notoriety whatsoever, but absolutely, I would probably be considered more radical or more right wing than Charlie Kirk. At least I'd hope so. But people would want me dead. People would want me dead. I mean, people do want me dead, but they don't know about me.
Right. That's exactly it. We know, we have the presence of mind to know that there are people that if you gave them our profiles and said, what do you think about this person, and do you think violence is justified against them, they would say yes.
Undeniably.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that is war.
I think one of the people that summed it up the best or really made a powerful video about this is the Sam Hyde, the first 2 minutes of the Sam Hyde video. I've got that clip. If
it's so good.
I'll play it. I think people need to hear it.
And by the way, this isn't Sam Hyde telling people how they should think about this. This is Sam Hyde knowing how people feel about this.
Right. The invisible wall. And so when he's saying this is you and this is your sister, he's alternating between pictures of Charlie Kirk and Irina, I believe her name is, the Ukrainian woman that was stabbed in the throat on the train.
This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this right here is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. This is you. This is your sister, your wife, your daughter. But this is you. And this is their reaction when you are killed. This is the joy they feel when your sister is raped, when your children are castrated, brainwashed to hate you. This is their ecstasy when the floor of the subway car is awash in your blood. This is you. Make no mistake, that is a symbol, that is you. But this won't last long. They can't help themselves because they're so ugly and so low that the only joy they can experience, the only good that they can envision, is to take something beautiful or innocent down to their level. And when they can't do it, the next best thing is blood. This is Charlie's family, and these are his children who will never be able to hug their dad and grow up with a murdered father. And these are the people who smugly revel in this, and they won't stop with just Charlie. The boats are burned. There's nobody coming to help. The barbarians are at the gate. This is the fall of ancient Rome that we are living through currently. And what happens in the next 2 weeks is going to determine the future of mankind. That's not hyperbole. That's just how it is.
And 1 week is gone.
That's right. 1 week is gone. You know, that's powerful. People in the chat room are saying this is an op, this is programming, this is that. Maybe, but if you didn't at least feel like this for a couple of hours or a day after this happened, I question whether or not you have a heart. I felt, I feel like there's people out there that did not see the video, and I think there's a clear distinction with people that have seen the video and people that have not seen the video. And for the soul and the heart, just the humanness of the people that are posting celebration videos, I have to hope and believe and pray that they have not seen the video and they didn't know what it looked like. You know?
They should still be able to conceptualize the gravity of a murdered father and husband who did nothing but travel the country and express milquetoast ideas.
Yeah. The moderate position.
That you shouldn't have to see a video to understand that. You shouldn't have to see a video for that to strike you, no matter who you think is behind it or what you think is trying to be perpetrated upon you and the American people by manipulating your emotions. You shouldn't have to see a video to realize the personal gravity of the situation and for that to touch you. You can be skeptical of why this was done and who did it and still have a heart for those impacted.
I'm with you, brother. To me, what's worse than the actual assassin pulling the trigger, and I've seen the conspiracy theories that are piling up behind it as to who's actually responsible. The usual suspects are the prime suspect here. But what's worse than all of that to me were the reactions, were the celebrations.
Well, I have 2 clips of celebrations if you want to get those out of the way.
Sure. Play the first one.
Yo, they got Charlie Kirk, bro. I've never been happier.
Never believe the reason I'm smiling. And it has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. Nothing to do with Charlie Kirk.
I would say pour one out for Kirky Boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
I haven't posted on TikTok in a long time, but I'm gonna now because rest in peace, Bozo!
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah, and I could not be happier. Praise fucking be.
I do not, and I will not, ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
Charlie Kirk got shot? That's awful. That's so sad. Hope he recovers well.
I just heard that someone shot Charlie Kirk? Dang it. Ah, shucks. Thoughts and prayers.
Disgusting. Here's the second clip.
Please let the rumors be true. Let the gossip be reality. Please.
Guys, it happened. He got pronounced dead. Oh my god, this is literally like, I swear to God, the equivalent of like the big, beautiful obituary. Like, we're so close. We're this fucking close. I swear we're this close. That is for sure. I am definitely popping a bottle tonight. I can't believe this. Whoever did it, I just want to say thank you so much. Whoever did it, they finally did it for the sake of humanity. Thank you so fucking much. Thank you.
Like fucking sitting dead? Fucking shit.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. To everyone saying that it was such a senseless, violent act, I want you to remind yourself that it was God's plan. I mean, really, it was actually his fault because, like, he should have been wearing, like, a bulletproof neck brace or something. Like, I cannot believe he walked out the house without it. I mean, really, you have to be aware of what you're wearing in public so that, like, people don't target you. And you don't become a victim. So I guess this is just another example of God's plan in action. It was not a senseless act of violence. This was God's plan. Happy.
So with Charlie Kirk getting shot, it's a good time to remind us that he is the one who said verbatim that gun deaths are worth it for to keep his gun rights. So as long as we don't take any guns from anybody because of this, he died a happy man.
You kind of understand why Muslims behead people, you know?
These are all deeply broken people. Deeply broken.
I mean,
But it's not our job to psychoanalyze them. And I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm talking about fellow humans. It's not our job to explain away why they are the way they are. They have plenty of people on their side of the political spectrum that make livings out of explaining to them why they are the way they are and why they need just one more drug, just one more pill to make your completely broken, corrupted soul into something that you can live with one more day. Just one more pill for one more day. But I think the important distinction here is this is a fringe response, at least the public aspect of it. I don't know how many people knew better than to post sentiments like these publicly. There are sentiments that I have that I would never post publicly, and I hope
I had a lot of them this week.
You're discerning of enough of a person that you also have sentiments that you wouldn't post publicly. The satisfaction of posting something publicly pales in comparison to the consequences of some of the things you can post publicly. One consequence being losing your job, which a lot of these people have. I think the last estimate was something, I think it was less than 10,000, but thousands of people have lost their jobs or been put on suspension for celebratory reactions to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which I fully support. You know, cancel culture is getting someone fired because of an opinion they hold. Getting someone fired because they celebrate the murder of another human being is just people living in a civil society. Anyone who celebrates murder should not be a member of your society. You shouldn't allow it. You should exile them from your society. Make them go somewhere else. Make them be a burden for someone else. They don't have to stay.
Most of them don't want to be here.
Well, that's what they say
Yeah.
anyway. Mostly they're liars, even to themselves. They can't help but lie. It's how the lies in conjunction with the pills that they've been prescribed is how they get through each day. And they lie to themselves, they lie to the people around them, and eventually they realize, or they finally eventually one day either see the light and are redeemed from these years of just complete brokenness, or they're finally convinced of the great deception that they're alone and it's nothing but a cold universe, and they act accordingly. But the distinction I wanted to make before I kind of got off the rails there was the people in the center and on the left who aren't in that fringe that celebrated, who were troubled by this assassination,
right?
They're the ones that have to make a choice now. They have to choose whether or not they are going to join the rest of us in wanting to live in a civil society, or if they're going to maintain their constructed political biases and say, well, just because he was a Republican, I can't come over to your side of the aisle. I have to stay over here with the people who glorify murder. And if they want to make that choice, that's fine. They don't have to stay either.
Well,
but
you're just
in order for any
go ahead.
In order for any of that to happen, the people who feel like this is a war and they are targets and people would want them dead if they knew them, they've got to do something. They have to respond to this. And a lot of people are looking to Trump right now. And the argument I think that I'm going to make, the overarching argument that I'm going to make tonight, I think, is if Trump doesn't do something, and I have ideas for what he could do, but if he doesn't do something, there's a real possibility, I would even say it's probable, that in the next 5 to 6 years, we step into a door of a cycle of violence that no one can imagine. And there are historical examples, and I have one, that I have clips from one of these historical examples that I think we are going right toward if someone doesn't do something. I think the easiest choice would be for Trump to do something, and we can talk about what that is later on. But there is a plan B. It's just not as clean, or it may still spark that cycle of violence if it has to come to that.
I mean, I think so too. If this stuff continues and the celebration videos, I've heard people say that, the vast majority of political violence comes from the right wing. I don't know the statistics behind that, but I do know that if these killings keep happening and the celebrations keep happening, that will be an undeniable fact.
Yes. It will be a very well-known fact.
Exactly. And that's not a threat. That's a promise.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No,
it's not a threat. It's I'm that serious. Like, I am not going to go hurt people, but there are not people that have a wife and 2 kids, or a wife and kids. There are people that don't have anything to lose.
Right.
Like this kid. And those people are the ones that are going to be causing right-wing violence, political violence. If you thought right-wing political violence was bad before, it's going to get a whole lot worse. And so that is what John is saying with, you need to make a choice. You on the left that didn't celebrate. Because your reaction, or lack of thereof, indifference, that plays a role too.
Yes. And you could help force the Trump administration to do something completely legal to address this. and spare tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives over the next 4 to 5 years. And we can go ahead and go here. I think this is the logical next step in the conversation. Antifa should most likely be designated a terrorist organization.
Yep.
And all affiliated organizations with Antifa should be considered terrorist organizations officially. Their financiers, their administrators, their organizers, and anyone who is rock solid affiliated with Antifa should be prosecuted under these terrorist designations. Now, I know that there are going to be unintended consequences to that. And I can hear you screaming out there, America First conservative, that this will undeniably be used to prosecute anyone who expresses an anti-Zionist opinion. And I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I don't know if taking that poison is going to act like an antibiotic or a poison to the body politic. Because if you take that pill, it could either eradicate the sickness and allow us to get back to being a somewhat civilized society, or it could be a poison. And if it is primarily used to attack people who criticize the America and the Zionist movement in the Middle East, then it's a poison, and I was wrong, and we made the wrong choice. But the alternative to that is, I think, what happened in Argentina in the 1970s. And this is what I have clips about. But in Argentina in the 1970s, to put it in a very basic form, the military organized squads, death squads, they're commonly referred to now. At the time, they were just military units to hunt down, arrest, and even kill communist agitators who were bombing military sites. They were executing public officials. They were assassinating military personnel. They were wreaking havoc in Argentina. And the military, once a rightist government was in place, had had enough. And the military's response created a cycle of violence where people were disappeared, people were murdered, journalists, teenagers, priests, it did not matter. If you expressed the wrong idea in the wrong company, you could be killed. You could be kidnapped. Your family could be killed. Your family could be kidnapped. And in today's terminally online America, no one is immune from that.
No.
If that happens.
Everyone has said something that is probably enough to get them killed or in a camp.
So we're at a really, this really is a crossroads.
Yeah.
The way I see it. I really think this is a crossroads. And, you know, I want to talk for a second about, I don't know if you could hear my daughter's walker that just went off when I kicked it. But I want to talk about the reaction of the left a little bit. Because from what I've seen, the reaction of the left has been whataboutism. It has been, well, what about the Minnesota representative? What about the black man in Mississippi who was found hanging from a tree in Delta State University? And what they don't get, you know, they did this whole dog and pony show for 8 years of, you know, no slippery slope arguments, no whataboutism.
Right. Right.
All of these logical dismissals of conservative ideas. And now, when we're confronted with a crossroads and they have to make a decision to either condemn what is obviously wrong or join the rest of civil society in saying, we can disagree, but this is too far, they can't help themselves. They have to say, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? You only care about Charlie Kirk because he was a white male.
Yeah. I've noticed they also now have an appreciation for individualism versus collectivism in a lot of their arguments.
Yes.
There's they're no longer gung ho about collectivist everything. It's but I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
you just got crispy a little bit. It'll be right back, folks. Good to go.
okay. Back. You put a marker down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've noticed from the left is they're not addressing this with the serious nature that it demands.
No, it's been, Trump started it effectively. Your words are a part of it. You're playing into this. Now, I made a post about Charlie Kirk on my Facebook. I reactivated my Facebook just to let everyone know that if they appreciated what was going on, or they found joy, or they loved it, then they're servants of Satan. And I got people in my comments section effectively saying, you call anyone that disagrees with you evil? And I said, well, if you celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder, then yeah, I think you're evil. And apparently I'm now part of the problem because I'm using divisive language.
Well, that's the thing that we've known for a long time about the left is they can never take any personal responsibility. They don't believe in personal responsibility. No. And yes, there is a difference in an aggressive vagrant on a subway car who used to impersonate Michael Jackson being killed in a chokehold, and Charlie Kirk, father of two, milquetoast commentator, being shot in front of 1,000 people.
Right.
There is a difference. There is a difference between Charlie Kirk and Michael Floyd dying with a knee on his neck. There is a difference.
Yeah, big one.
Everyone they bring up, Trayvon Martin, yeah, there's a difference. The two people that the kid in Kenosha killed, there's a big difference. Everyone that they bring up as an example, even the senator from Minnesota, okay, she may not have been a questionable member of society like some of the others, but she wasn't a public figure. I mean, she was a public figure in Minnesota. She wasn't a national figure.
Yeah, no one knew her.
She wasn't murdered to make a point. She was murdered because some guy thought Tim Walz asked him to do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they can't get past is, well, you didn't say anything when this happened, or that, not realizing the symbol of which Charlie Kirk is, and completely missing the point because they're too busy looking at their calculators and saying, well, according to this, more right-wing people in history have shot people, and it's like, or, our perpetrators of political violence. And, they don't understand that he's a symbol for me. He's a symbol for you. And, we made fun of Charlie Kirk on the show. But we didn't hate him. You know what I mean? We made fun of his appearance.
Right.
Just kind of tongue-in-cheek jokes that everyone was making. But we never hated him.
And I will say this. I want to say this. You bring up a good point about him being a symbol. I think there was that same sentiment in 2020 during the George Floyd riots, where black people in America, especially urbanites, saw George Floyd as a symbol for them. But at the same time, why is he your symbol? Is it just because he's black? Or do you also ramble around on the streets high on fentanyl and
with fake counterfeit
point
bills.
a gun, point guns at pregnant women? Do you do that? Is that why he's a symbol to you, or is it just because all you see is a black man and not his character? After all, it is the content of the character, is it not? When we say Charlie Kirk is a symbol, he's actually someone you can look up to say he speaks what he believes, he's courageous about it, and look, he's got a family. I mean, how many people in America feel robbed of the ability to have a family? And we dunk on them all the time as the incels, but that's a real plight that a lot of people face. And if you see Charlie Kirk out there standing up for what he believes in, and you're too afraid to say what you believe in because you're afraid you may not get a girlfriend, or you may not keep your friends if you're trying to strive in a urban city setting as a young professional, that's inspirational. You don't see George Floyd pointing a weapon at a pregnant woman and passing off counterfeit bills and say, wow, as a little black boy, I can make it too.
It's true. It's true. I've seen people compare him to Martin Luther King, and then other people get upset that he was compared to Martin Luther King. Charlie Kirk was better than Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a womanizer. Charlie Kirk was not. Charlie Kirk was a family man. Charlie Kirk is a better martyr than anybody you can name, except for Jesus Christ.
I was going to say.
Who Charlie followed.
Yeah, I think it's time, and I've heard Nick Fuentes, and I've heard what's the guy's name you just played the clip of? I'm blanking on his name. Sam Hyde. Yeah, I've heard them both say and realize that it's time for them to get a little more serious in the way they look at things. That's really the distinction between right and left right now. The right realizes that this is a moment that needs to be taken very seriously because of the potential outcomes it could have. The people on the left, from the ones celebrating to the ones who are just oblivious, they don't get that.
No.
They don't see that.
Well, it's done now. Like, we're no longer playing ball. Right?
Yeah, you either got it or you didn't.
We're not going to go along to get along anymore. That's done. People are like, oh, maybe transsexuals will someday be accepted like gay people are. That door's closed. You got.
I agree.
You got the whites that post the black squares on Instagram and take a knee, but the rest of us are done, and we're not coming back.
And I think we should be, and I think that starts with berating your own kind that don't realize that.
Right. I mean, I sent every man I knew that was semi-conservative, or at least not a raging liberal, that 2-minute video from Sam Hyde. Every single one of them. This is the grassroots organization, right? We're all becoming the Sal Alinsky's of the right.
You may think this is a little too cynical, but I've often wondered, and the things that I think about and the timing of them throughout my life have just been weird. But one of the questions I was asking older people, and I always like to have engaging conversations with older people because you don't know how long they're going to be there, and they've seen a lot more than we have, and I've always gotten along really well with older people. And one of the things I had been asking them lately was, why didn't anyone do anything when Kennedy was assassinated? And usually the first response I get is, well, what do you mean? I said, your president was assassinated. Why didn't anyone do anything? And of course, the typical response is, well, what could we have done?
Well,
and I think
they found an outlet for all the young men that were spirited enough to do anything about it. They sent them into the jungle of Vietnam.
Awfully convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
But that had been my question as of late to a lot of older people that I have been around. And I find myself asking myself that same question when I look in the mirror now is, what are you going to do about it? Because Charlie Kirk wasn't a president, but he was not just a symbol of your your idealistic white male future. He was a symbol of the American body politic. A Christian man who isn't afraid to speak his mind. And if you had someone on the left that was doing the same thing Charlie Kirk was doing, which was debating anyone who would debate them, whether in good faith or not, but actually asking people to come debate them and standing up courageously for their ideas in that setting, they would also be a symbol for the American body politic.
It doesn't exist on the left. There is no left Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean?
No, it's not possible, because I think they would be driven out by the left. They would be accused of platforming hate in their debates.
That's fair. I mean, I think that is very fair. They did kind of, what happened is 2020 happened and conservatives were kicked out of everywhere because they had an opinion counter to certain narratives. They started their own platforms, and you push people to the fringes. And I think the left was pissed off at that. Like, no, you have to be here on YouTube with us. You have to be, in this and see what we're doing. And they got really mad at it, all the jokes and everything. And then these platforms either got purchased by Elon Musk or became more popular, and they got really mad because they're like, I can't believe that somebody has created an outlet for 50% of the country. They need to be in our bubble and see our stuff all the time. And I think that was good for us as far as people on the right. And I say us,
and
just me in general.
Well, and just like comfortable whites do, they ran away to the suburb of Blue Sky.
Exactly. But, the division occurred, but I think it was good for conservatives overall because we were forced to see the left-wing perspective. Every night on the news, we were forced to see the left-wing perspective. In our socials, they got really loud and vocal about their politics, and a lot of us were run off and just stopped talking about politics. I had to change my display name on Facebook because, I don't know, sometime before 2020, some lady tried to get me fired from my job for engaging in a debate and not absolutely agreeing that, we should be giving the entire black community an external locus of control and be telling them that they can do nothing to control their future without the help of white people in these organizations. And, she tracked me down on LinkedIn and tried to get me fired. And like that was that was like when I removed myself from the social media. And that's when I sought out this community that we're a part of now, this streaming community. And then a couple years later, MMO happened. And,
okay, I think there's a lesson to be learned there. Just getting some of these people fired in the immediate aftermath of this isn't enough.
No.
It's not enough. They'll reorganize, and they're not going to change their views. If anything, they're going to get more radical.
Well, CNN
and that's what's happened on the right. I've gotten more radical since then.
Oh, absolutely.
I know you have. I mean, you're basically a white nationalist.
I own several Ruby Ridge T-shirts. You know? That should tell you all you need to know. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what we do about it, but it's not. It's funny because we're standing here with arms open, and it's like, just apologize. Just say it's messed up, it's wrong, and the people that are celebrating are wrong. Don't come at me and say, well, you're contributing to the political temperature as well. Like, do you think we're at a point right now where we're the ones that want to mend the fence? Like, we're the ones that are going to be the step forward and say, hey, you know what? That was effed up, but it's fine.
Come home.
You're right. We were a part of the problem. That's why Charlie Kirk got shot. No. So it's
you closed that door.
Yeah. And a lot of people are doing that all over.
So I mentioned what I thought Trump could do, and we kind of got derailed from that when I went into the counter to it about how it could be used against people who are critical of Zionism. What do you see as the pitfalls of the Trump administration doing something, and what they could do in wake of this to actually keep us from spiraling into this violent reality of political retribution?
I'm sorry. What is the question?
What are you playing with over there? What
people are saying?
Pressing?
People are saying our stream dropped, so I had to get it
back. My question was, what do you think there's anything the Trump administration can do to remedy this and keep us out of this cycle of violence for political retribution? Or how do you see this playing out? What are our options?
Well, it's tough because if Trump takes the strong-handed approach like you suggested, labeling Antifa a terrorist group, and people on the left, they're still trying to argue that it's not a group, it's an idea. You can't ban an idea, man. There's no leaders of an idea.
Ideas don't have bank accounts.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we call ourselves the anti-bad guy, so everything that we do is justified by our name. That's what Antifa is.
Marker.
So if he takes that approach, then it's going to be in the news that, it's this heavy-handed approach. It's the wrong thing. And if Trump does what the left wants him to do, which is like, hey, we got to cool the temperature down, we're going to have a meeting, me and Chuck Schumer, and we're going to do a 3-hour podcast and talk about it. It's not going to accomplish anything. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah,
so,
the toddler gets away with it.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to do or what they can do, the Trump administration.
Well, I will posit that and I have no evidence of this, I'm not in contact with anyone planning anything like this. I don't condone it. But I will posit to you that there are groups of people around the country that are chanting, revenge is a dish best served cold. And they're waiting, they're biding their time, and if nothing is done to satisfy their bloodlust, you will see left-wing streamers, left-wing activists, Democrat lawmakers in some cases, murdered in public in cold blood.
And that is why I have the message that I have for left people. They think I'm threatening them. I am not. Out of the love that I have for them and for this country and for civil society, I'm telling them I am not going to hurt you. But just like you said, there are absolutely groups of people out there that will.
Without a second thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're driving toward a train. It's just a train that's stopped on the tracks waiting for them. And because we're yelling at them that they're heading toward the train, they think we're threatening them, but we're not the train.
No, we're the guy that's like, hey, the rail switch is broken, so you got to get off the damn tracks. Jesus. But yeah, I mean, the administration did Pam Bondi and Trump both talking about hate speech.
Oh yeah,
Jesus. It's like, what are you guys doing? It's like extra point afterwards, and you fumble the snap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that you watched Notre Dame now this weekend.
That's exactly what I was thinking of.
It was an entertaining game.
It was a good game. It was. I'm sure the backup quarterback absolutely feels terrible.
That's crazy, man. Did you catch the game this weekend?
Did you? Well, no, I didn't catch the ball.
Put a marker down for that. I don't know if you're familiar with that joke, but anyway,
maybe not.
That'd be a decent opening. Yeah, I'm just trying to look back at my clips and see where to steer this this ride tonight. But I think that is something important to reiterate, and we both said it already, but I don't think we can say it enough. The people telling you that we're headed for a really dark, bad time in America if something isn't done to address this, we're not threatening you. Dan is absolutely right. We're not threatening anyone. We're not going to come kill you. But we know that there are people who exist who really want to right now.
Yep.
And if you don't know that those people exist, you should really, really consider joining us in reality.
Yeah, and tread lightly in the real world and online. Again,
and that's another thought. These people that post, they feel comfortable posting this kind of thing, this celebration of a man who's never hurt anyone in his life. All he's done is maybe said some mean words, and you could argue he's never even done that. The fact that they feel comfortable celebrating his demise, his earthly demise, really gives you an idea of how disconnected you become from reality. You know, I said earlier that, they don't have to stay in our society. We can get rid of them. We can exile them. And by the way, we don't need the government to do that. I'll just be clear about that. I'm not saying we have to kill them or get rid of them. But we don't need the government to get them out of our country. There's plenty of money and plenty of manpower outside of government organization that could take anyone deemed antisocial in your community and send them somewhere else. Maybe that's kidnapping. I don't know. Again,
we need our own Australia.
The tranny colony.
That's right. Diego Garcia, you are now America's Australia.
But I'm not even. It doesn't even have to be outside of the country. You can exile people from your community just by shunning them from your businesses, from anything. And to your point about the hate speech, stupidity that Pam Bondi's going through and going on about right now, conservatives have fought for years for any business to have the right to refuse service to people. And now here she is talking about how because of some fat at Office Depot not printing a poster, that she's going to champion the obligation of people to be served at a business, a private place of business. How stupid is this woman?
Well, she wants the gays to have their cake and eat it too. Make their cake.
I just don't get it. I don't understand her.
Print my poster, bigot. Eric Peepee in the chat. Very funny. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, So as far as Trump doing something, so far it has been a wet fart of a response. It has been bad.
You know, I feel like I've gotten derailed a couple times by my own doing. By the way, I'm not saying anything else. Um, but when I was talking about how all these older people don't really have an answer for, why didn't you do anything when JFK was assassinated? I almost get this sinking feeling that that's where we're headed with this. And I guess the nothing ever happens, oddly enough, ironically enough, option here would be that nothing else happens. And you do have the occasional assassination in America, and that's it. It's a risk you take. And I think Charlie understood that risk. To get back to the meat of this issue, I think Charlie understood that risk and was comfortable with that risk. I can't imagine doing what he did and not understanding the violent nature of the people that you're ideologically opposed to. But the real nagging at me is, Sam Hyde got cracked up when he mentioned this. It's seeing his family. And, everyone may be okay if nothing else happens, and people may want nothing else to happen, and you've got, your occasional political assassination. But to me, that slow dragging out of a decline into that type of a nation is far worse than just addressing the problem and getting it over with. I mean, have you ever seen, and I think these things scale. So have you ever seen someone who's just completely eaten up with cancer and can hardly move, talk, think? They're just completely, they're just alive. They're basically a living corpse.
Yeah, I have.
That's what our nation is headed toward unless we do something about this cancer that's spreading. And, it may feel good to be able to say, well, poor Charlie, he died, and it was sad for a week or so, but then everything was okay, and, the stock market did all right, and, the Republicans won the primaries and the midterms, and, that everything was good. It was a good few years after that, and, then J.D. Vance got shot, and we were all really concerned for a little while again, and it was sad because of his wife and his kids, and but everything was fine. Everything kept moving on, and then Joe Blow, Democrat, they took him out after that, and everybody was upset, and it was the same old thing, and it started to get to be a common occurrence where a politician would get shot, a podcaster would get shot, and it was just part of life. But everybody was doing okay. People were making money, and everybody was just living their life. That, to me, that reality is far more tragic than something being done now to put us back on a civil path. Because living with stuff like that, living in eventually what becomes multicultural Haiti, that's unacceptable. And if I get to be 80 years old, if I survive to be 80 years old, if I survive, the rabid, uncompromising leftist bullet and live to be 80 years old, and that's what my country becomes, that's hell to me.
Yeah. I think bulldozer modification will be on a rise if that's what happens.
Oh, we're not talking about zoning regulations here.
Well, maybe the bulldozer will do a little bit more damage than it did.
So anyway, I've got still a lot of clips
Yeah.
from about this. And sorry for anyone out there who is tired of the ranting, but I think this is something that people need to be thinking about this and thinking about where we go from here. And that's what I've been doing for a few days, and it's what I'm still doing. I haven't worked everything out. I think there's a lot of paths we could go down, and I hope it's okay that I'm fleshing those out here.
I think it's a cathartic experience. I think people need to talk about this. Specifically, when you go to work and you're like, you feel like you're the only one that saw this happen, right? You're the only one that experienced it. Everyone else is acting business as normal. And it's like, I remember having a moment of silence for George Floyd. I remember stopping and watching some dumb ceremony at work because everyone had it. And it feels like that's not the case here. Oh, they lowered the flag at half-mast outside at the office building. That's good, right? We're good with that. But I think people need to talk about it and get it off their chest. And yes, Billy Bones, donate today for my bulldozer. I appreciate that.
We're going to need a lot of plate steel.
That's right. It's pretty expensive. I don't want any of that cheap Chinese shit.
Okay, well let's do some of these clips, shall we? Do you have any general rundown?
I don't have any general rundown. I have kind of some interesting points. I've watched a lot of the coverage of it, including Candace Owens' hour-long video where she pretty pointedly tells people who she believes is responsible. But no general rundown.
Okay. Mine is pretty well all over the place. I've got... Oh, well, this one would have been apropos earlier. It's consequences, NBC News, and after a long hiatus, let's follow up on those celebrations.
In the wake of the murder of Charlie Kirk, celebrated in death for his embrace of freedom of speech in life, tensions over speech are flaring. Utah Governor Spencer Cox on Friday calling for calm.
Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life.
But in the wake of Kirk's death, online fury indeed, and swift reaction to it. 2 faculty members at East Tennessee State University, among several in academia facing backlash, placed on administrative leave following complaints about their online comments. In Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis' education commissioner issued a warning to teachers making disgusting comments about the shooting. Writing in a memo, I will be conducting an investigation of every educator who engages in this vile, sanctionable behavior. Govern yourselves accordingly. The fallout also appearing in corporate America, Delta Airlines announcing it suspended several employees over their social media posts.
I'm sorry, we don't put that here.
Office Depot firing a Michigan employee who called a poster for a Kirk Vigil propaganda and refused to print it. The company apologizing, saying in a statement, the behavior displayed by our associate is completely unacceptable and insensitive. The response also in the federal government, a Secret Service agent put on administrative leave with an investigation underway following comments described as inappropriate. Tonight, a line being drawn over discourse.
You should be allowed to say outrageous things. You should be allowed to say contrarian things.
In the wake of the assassination of a man who defended it. Steve Patterson, NBC News.
Yeah, I love the trick there.
Yeah, to put Charlie Kirk would want this at the end.
Yes. Yes, he's saying you should be allowed under the First Amendment, and corporations and companies and individuals are not bound to act in accordance with the First Amendment.
No. You have the freedom of speech, not the freedom of consequences from said speech.
Yes, exactly. And, I was just kind of browsing the internet while we were listening to that. The Trump administration is really going whole hog on this hate speech thing. And I'm flabbergasted.
I think they don't know what to do. I think
What is this?
that's symbolic of them not knowing what to do.
What?
We got to do something. The shooting happened. This is pretty stereotypical Trump. The shooting happened in Las Vegas. The guy used a bump stock. We got to ban bump stocks. Situation managed. I did something about it. That is going to be the Trump reaction to this. Hate speech. We are on our own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
And that should be the scariest
right.
news for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, no one's coming to save us. And what someone posted in a group just a second ago, no one's coming to save us, but no one's coming to save them either.
That's right. Oh, man.
But I don't actually think that's true. If retribution does start being carried out against leftists, the government will intervene. They will take action then. Make no mistake about it. It doesn't matter if Trump is in office and you remember him saying, "Stand back and stand by" to the Proud Boys. Doesn't matter. If you start to do anything violent, they will come after you. They're not going to stand idly by as you do things that you may consider to be necessary to your survival in the long run. I mean, Pam Bondi is essentially saying that even if you decline to serve in your business someone who has anti-human views, as I think we should call it from now on, that she's going to come after you for discrimination, for hate speech.
Yeah.
You know, what is hate speech, Pam?
Speech you don't like. Every crime's a hate crime if you don't like the guy.
Yes, that's a great Mitch Hedberg.
That's one of my favorites.
I'm absolutely astounded by this. And it makes me tend much more, it makes me abandon the position of something has to be done culturally with these people that don't know what a civil society is and are deeply broken and don't respect human life. It makes me want to abandon that position and say, you just wait and turn my attention to this federal government. Because if this is their response to what everyone knows a problem is to say, well, looks like it's hate speech. There you go. Check. Done. How about those midterms? If that's their response here and that's it, they should have to bear the wrath of 150 million Americans.
Yeah, maybe they can play it just right where everybody hates them. And that's what unites America.
Well, as an anti-federalist, I would love that. But I mean, the point here is what, I don't even know I don't even know how to start arguing against that. That's not, it wasn't even on the table. Like no one, how is hate speech even on the table?
It sounds like something the left would propose in this scenario. Well, we got to ban hate speech.
Are we not reacting to the murder of Charlie Kirk, but reacting to some viral videos of people celebrating? Is that what we're doing? Are we that Facebook brained that we can't keep our eye on the ball for 2 days?
I don't know, man. We got to start playing some clips, though.
It's extremely concerning.
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Okay. Well, let's this in sequential order anyway. This would be next. This is from the guy on YouTube called the Body Language Guy, and he's going to ask a question about some of the cameras at the event, and then I've got the answer after. But I'll see what your best guess is to this question, and then get your answer.
Sure.
So I just recorded a video shot by Life is Driving, who was Life is Driving on X, who was recording a live stream at Utah University the day that Charlie Kirk was shot. The video is 1 hour long. I just shared with you some parts, and I told you that I was going to make a focus analysis on a section of the video, a clip of that video that is, let's say, disturbing. You see right here on your screen a guy who is dismounting a camera that was right behind Charlie when he was shot. And I'm going to ask you a question because it's obvious, no, right? That at some point they had to, pack and leave, right? It's normal. But I'm going to ask you a question. Can you guess how much time passed since the moment that Charlie Kirk was shot to this instant in which they began basically taking the cameras away? The high resolution cameras that, well, recorded everything.
How much time? Like when did they start taking it down?
Yeah.
5 to 20 minutes.
That's closer than I thought you were going to be. And mind you, these aren't law enforcement officials.
The people that are taking the cameras down, they're part of the team or the security detail?
They just appear to be TPUSA members.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had seen a video of a kid trying to give an interview as to what happened, and like the TPUSA people in their T-shirts started like ripping the mic away and attacking them.
Yeah, I kind of chalked that up to a
emotional response.
Too soon.
Right.
Why do you need to be talking about this right now? Kind of a in the interest of decency, let's not do interviews right now. I don't think that kid knew anything.
No. I didn't think that either. It was more so of like if they're taking the cameras down, these TPUSA people, maybe they don't want the first-hand account out there right away. I was unaware.
Okay, well, let's play the answer and see how long it took them after Charlie Kirk is moved out of the tent, how long it took them to start taking down the cameras at a crime scene.
Maybe you can, for the setting, you could say 1 hour. No, too much. Maybe you'd say maybe 30 minutes after the fact. Still too much. Maybe 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes. No, you will still be missing the mark. You know how long was it? 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it myself. I had to check. From the moment the shot is heard and everybody starts running, I showed that on my previous video, to this moment in which these guys began taking away the cameras. 5 minutes. 5. I just wondering, how is that possible? How does that work? Somebody was shot and there must be blood everywhere, right there. There must be blood everywhere. Everybody saw what happened. And yes, the chair that he is standing on, that's the chair that Charlie Kirk was sitting when he was shot.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
That no one should be in that tent.
Did you see today that they're paving over it as well?
What?
They're laying pavers where the grass was, where Charlie was. They're laying pavers down over the grass. Less than a week after the crime happened.
Why?
I don't know, but it's happening. I saw it. They're literally paving over the grassy area where Charlie Kirk was when he got shot.
It's kind of funny that I think it's fitting for us to have talked about sort of the cultural impact of this for as long as we did, but we haven't even talked about the details of the shooting and what we think actually happened, because there's no consensus on from where he was shot, with what he was shot. The FBI is telling us one thing. There will never be a consensus on this.
No. The one thing, the gun movement is the one thing that I don't understand. And I really don't think that there's a clear...
The transit of the weapon up and then off the roof?
I've got the Michael Savage clip of him explaining the Mauser and how it doesn't make any sense. He points out 3 good points in 2 minutes. You want to hear it?
Well, of course.
Okay.
The so-called FBI, something's wrong. I know I shouldn't do this. I'm risking an awful lot to go up against this FBI, the MAGA FBI. Something's very wrong with what I just heard. I mean, I watched it. I was hoping that they had caught the bastard who shot Charlie. So we saw a video of a person jumping off the roof. It looked very legitimate to me. However, there was no rifle in his hand. Now, the Mauser does not break down very easily, incidentally, for those of you who know weapons. Something's wrong with the whole thing. They're trying to claim he removed the barrel from the Mauser and fit the receiver and stock in his backpack and barrel in his pants leg, all in 2 seconds. It is not easy to remove a Mauser barrel or index it.
It is.
After reinstalling and remain accurate. We are not
that
hearing or
part's true.
seeing reality. And by the way, the photo of the rifle allegedly left in the woods has the barrel installed. So we're supposed to believe a guy is on the run after killing Charlie Kirk, and he pauses in the woods to reinstall a barrel, and then he leaves it for us to find, the FBI to find. I don't believe a word of it. I shouldn't do this. I know I'm putting myself at risk, but I can't take it anymore. I can't take the bullshit from this fucking government. It's lying to us.
I didn't know.
Something's wrong. Something's so wrong. It's sickening.
Now, I thought that was pretty compelling when I first heard it. But then I had the thought that Cotton Gin just pointed out, maybe he threw it off the roof. So that would make more sense as to why it's reassembled when it's found by the FBI.
That would also explain the eye relief of the scope.
The eye relief?
Yes, how far back the scope appeared to be set on the weapon.
Oh, I see.
If you throw it off, there's a good chance it could get knocked backward.
Yep, Grandpa's old Mauser, apparently. So I thought that was interesting at first, and then I came to the same thing as Cotton Gin. Maybe he threw it off the roof. So
yeah, that's a real possibility. My biggest hang up right now is the actual motion of Kirk's body when he's shot. And I really don't want to make this graphic.
Yeah.
But him being shot from the front doesn't seem like it would cause his body to move in the way it did. And the wound that you can see on the left side of his neck, that's an awfully large entry wound, if that's an entry wound.
So,
and I understand it would have been on the jugular, and that's why it would have bled as much as it did for an entry wound. But for it to open up the way it did, that looks so much more like an exit wound to me. And if you look at the motion of his body, it looks as though he's hit from behind, to me.
So, I mean, I don't know. Did you see the initial jerk, right? So you see him get hit with the bullet. And you see it's like a jerk. It almost looks like it was a ricochet off of his bulletproof vest.
But he's not wearing a bulletproof vest.
He is wearing a bulletproof vest in the video.
No, he's not.
Is he not?
No, he's not. Nope.
Oh my God. I definitely have seen an altered video then, because there is a video where he's wearing a bulletproof vest and it's clear as day.
Well, even no one wears steel bulletproof vests anymore. So that bullet is not going to ricochet off of a modern bulletproof vest. A modern bulletproof vest is going to catch that bullet like a catcher's mitt. They're designed to reduce shrapnel. So if he was wearing a steel plate, then yes, you could have the bullet bouncing up, striking his neck, and it even appears as though his head is pushed up after his body convulses. So I thought the same thing too. But then I watched some videos of him walking around before the event, and, this may sound funny, you can see his nipples. You can't see someone's nipples when they're wearing a bulletproof vest.
I suppose that's fair.
And I believe I hate to appeal to the FBI, but they've also said he was not wearing a bulletproof vest.
I saw a video where it was so defined, the bulletproof vest, that I looked and it was there. I was like, oh, he wears a bulletproof vest to these things. That's interesting. So I must have seen an altered video. There are people talking about the ring. You've seen the ring claim of it switches from his, ring finger to his pinky. That kind of thing. I don't know. There's a lot going on. A coworker reached out to me today and it's like, did you hear about this, like the cell phone gun theory? Where like one of his security
the
guards
guy with his arms crossed.
Cell phone. Yeah.
The trajectory
doesn't make sense.
Of that security guard doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You would have, basically his trachea would have been blown out.
Right.
But to me, the wound on his neck looks like an exit wound. It bleeds like an exit wound. And the convulsion of his body appears to suggest that he was hit with a downward force near the base of his skull, and that bullet exited after striking the base of his skull, exited the front left of his neck. Now, basically, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But to me, that's what appears to have happened. And I mentioned earlier, seeing that video at the beginning of the whole thing, the first video I saw, it was very clear to me after seeing that first video that someone shot him from his right. That's the way it looked from that zoomed out view. I'm not sure if I told anybody that that's what I thought. I don't know. I was messaging quite a few people at that point. But to me, my first reaction was Charlie Kirk has been shot in the neck from his right side, and he's probably dead.
Yep.
I specifically remember that being my assessment of that first video. And then we get the guy on the roof, and we get, oh, no, he was shot from the front. And here's the thing. His torso convulses when he's struck by the bullet. And that could be his shirt moving just by the sheer force of everything hitting him.
Yeah.
But I thought to begin with as well that the bullet struck a bulletproof plate because of the way that the force appears to hit him from the front. But then you consider how if you're hit in the neck, everything else is going to snap toward wherever that force comes from. And you sort of get the idea of how getting hit at the base of the skull could cause that motion that you see. Because basically, another thing, and it gets tough when you have the ability to see things frame by frame, because you lose sense of what something actually looks like. You see this all the time in football games. You could watch the game frame by frame and point out 1,000 holding calls that were missed. But when you see it in real time, you realize, oh, that's actually not holding, or that's actually not roughing the passer. It was just the speed of the game is part of the game. And I think we suffer from that a little bit when we overanalyze these things, where we'd almost be making better assessments if we didn't have frame-by-frame views of things like this. And I think that's why I trust my initial reaction to it more than watching these frame-by-frame analyses of it. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think anyone will ever know. I don't think we'll ever be able to trust this FBI. And I don't think we'll ever have a consensus of who actually killed Charlie Kirk and how they did it.
Everything around it, the paving over it instantly right after, it's just like the kid that shot at Trump. Oh, we incinerated his body. We did an autopsy, incinerated his body.
Oh, well, it's Osama bin Laden. We buried him at sea.
Yeah,
why?
2 shots, exactly. It's not like they're going to be rushing after you. Wait, that's our corpse. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. Everything around it is odd. Even the kid. The kid's like, I did it. I pulled the trigger.
But he's pleading not guilty.
Is he?
That's what I understand.
Well,
and that could be a lie.
I watched his arraignment today.
They didn't ask for a plea.
No, they pretty much just were just reading the charges to him. And I think the only thing he did was have to state his name and then sit there in a looked like a stab-proof vest or a bulletproof vest, which is odd because he was in prison and it was a Zoom call. So
yeah,
I have a feeling that a lot of that trial is going to be not in person, or if it is in person, he's going to be moved very carefully.
Yeah. Or not.
Or he's never going to make it to trial.
Yeah.
If that happens, then I think for sure we'll know that this is bigger than what it seems. I mean, without a doubt at that point.
Yeah, who's going to be our next Jack Ruby?
Steven Crowder.
Doubtful.
Pick up the gun and walk the dog.
I
feel bad. I mean, I don't want to make fun of Steven Crowder because, I mean, he might get killed next week, It's terrible. That's how I feel right now.
Well, let's talk about these text messages that came out today. But first, let's play some clips to set this up.
Sure.
This is Robinson Troon roommate.
All right, friends, so we now have confirmation of what we suspected. Tyler Robinson's partner, identified as Lance Twiggs, was in fact living with him at the time of the shooting. That is now confirmed. Again, like I mentioned in the previous video, the left is trying to deny this report, but now confirmed by one of Lance Twiggs' family members. The two were in fact living together. They were apparently renting one of the townhomes as seen on screen for $1,800 a month, and so anybody suggesting that Tyler Robinson was living with his family full-time, well, is simply a liar. And it gets even worse. Take a look at this headline from the Gateway Pundit. Quote, relative spills on Lance Twiggs' relationship with Charlie Kirk assassin. Quote, full of evil and hatred, feared he might hurt someone, raged against Christians and conservatives. So a relative who chose to remain anonymous spoke with a small outlet named Wisconsin Right Now, and they admitted that they were afraid that Twiggs himself, not Tyler, would actually hurt someone. And this was based on things that he would say to his own family. They confirmed that he was not mentally well, he had been transitioning for about 4 years, and that yes, Tyler Robinson was Twiggs' boyfriend. The family member said that they distanced themselves from Twiggs' constant hostility towards, quote, conservative ideals and Christian values. They cut ties completely, calling him unhealthy, angry, and especially at Christians and conservatives.
Interesting. Question: if he is a transgender woman, then why is he transitioning for 4 years? If he's a real woman, why isn't he a real woman now? You know what I mean?
Why not just get it chopped off?
Well, just why is there a 4-year transition? If you're a woman, why would you have a multi-year transition? It would be like that. You'd be a woman.
You're being facetious.
I'm just asking. I don't know all these things.
Yeah, Twiggs. I've got a second clip, roommate 2.
As you can see on screen, this is allegedly Lance Twiggs' Instagram account. The handle is under the name Sir Lancelot, with the bio that reads, friendly neighborhood licensed fish finder. We're learning that in trans and drag queen slang, fish is apparently a term that's used to describe somebody who passes well as female, and so obviously that's adding more context. It's insider language from the trans and drag culture. You can also see the avatar, where the individual is clearly presenting as some sort of furry persona, or otherwise known as a fursona. And when you connect all of that with what we already know, well, it starts to make perfect sense, especially on top of another report that we've got here from the New York Post, which is claiming that the Charlie Kirk assassination suspect had a furry fixation and his trans boyfriend proclaimed support for Biden on social media. An account on the website furaffinity.net, which features sexualized images of cartoon animal characters, features an account name matching one that Robinson used on his various gaming and online accounts, friends told the Daily Mail. The spent cartridges, believed to belong to the murder weapon, was inscribed with the message, notices bulges, oh whoa, what's this? A phrase associated with a popular furry internet meme.
How is no one doing ooh woo? Ooh woo? That's what that is, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, some of them. The guy that was reading the charges in Utah today said, "No Tice's bulge." OWO. It's just like, come on, man. And then they keep reading the one. If you read this, you are gay. LOL. And I did it. I was talking to a guy, and he was convinced that made him a groiper because no lefty would ever do that joke. If you read this, you are gay.
The whole Groiper thing is...
That narrative came out of nowhere fast.
Yes, it did. And that's why it's crazy to me that the Trump administration decided that our pitch to hit is hate speech when you can see these narratives emerge from, I guess, nowhere and hit the airwaves in a coordinated fashion the way this one did. I mean, you can find pictures right now of Tyler Robinson in a Trump shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And they're completely fake.
Yeah, I mean, that's
just one example.
That's par for course today. I keep seeing all these athletes are stepping up and going to pay for the, Charlie's college or whatnot. All these random athletes, people are sharing these stories. I'm like, okay, so all like a professional sports league player from every league has stepped up and is going to pay for the kid's college. Like, I just looking at this story, I was like, one or two of these is false. I can tell.
Yeah. So yeah, where these narratives come from, where especially the Groyper accusation. And if you don't know what a Groyper is someone who considers themselves to be further right than Charlie Kirk, and they're basically a follower of Nick Fuentes, and they're more radical than Charlie Kirk. They consider Charlie Kirk to be a representative of conservative Inc., I think is what they call it, which is basically
the Republican Party.
Basically John McCainism.
Yeah.
And they would antagonize Charlie at his events. In 2019, there was a long, drawn-out occurrence, and they still occurred even recently, where people would come to Charlie Kirk's events, and their questions would be centered around America's support for Israel and other difficult questions that a milquetoast conservative would have to answer. And, that's just what they did. That's what Groypers do. That is a Groyper. So to say that the shooter was a Groyper is to say, well, this is inter-right-wing violence.
Yeah.
This isn't the lefties.
And that was the immediate left response because they don't want to have to own it. And that was the initial takeaway that they did. And now that it's, fully determined that this guy was a lefty loony, and sucking off his woman, they don't own it at all.
Hey. So the text messages have been published between Tyler Robinson and this roommate. And these are labeled as alleged text messages. So September 10th, 2025, Tyler Robinson says, "Drop." You want to put this on the screen?
I'll put it on the screen. Do you have the link somewhere?
Yes, I can get that to you.
If you want to do Tyler Robinson, I will be the tranny.
Okay. I'm just going to drop it in the show folder.
Gotcha.
Will that work? That should work.
The episode folder or the show folder?
Episode under Kirk.
Gotcha.
And it is uploading. I don't know if this is the best way to do this or not. You'd think after 180 some episodes.
I could probably just find the text messages online.
You could probably, just look it up.
Tyler Robinson. I will say no middle name this time, which is usually full text exchange with Lance Twiggs.
Let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
Are you in character?
I'm in character.
Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard. And then the narrator says, the roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it.
What? You're joking, right?
I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you.
You weren't the one who did it, right?
I am. I'm sorry.
I thought they caught the person.
No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering.
Why?
Why did I do it?
Yeah.
I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it.
How long have you been planning this?
A bit over a week, I believe. I can't get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it soon as I got out of my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring it back. Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints I had to leave on it on a brush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How will I explain losing it to my old man? Okay. I think I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The messages are mostly a big meme. If I see "notices bulge" ooh on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for sheriff. You're all I worry about, love.
I'm much more worried about you.
Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Oh, that is a ridiculous exchange. I love that the roommate can't even be bothered to message him back through half of it.
Yeah. He's just kind of like, oh my God. I was joking about that. I can't believe, I thought the roommate there must have thought he was screwing with him. But as he keeps going on in more detail, I'm just like, oh my God, you actually did this. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got 27 words from the roommate. No, 33 words from the roommate.
Ding, ding.
Oh, and by the way, do you know how long it took the FBI to catch killer Tyler Robinson?
No, how long?
33 hours.
Oh my God. Mother of God.
It's all just so ridiculous.
Yeah, right on the nose.
You know, eve of 9/11, he's shot 11 seconds after he says too many in response to how many trans shootings there have been. 33 words from the roommate, 33 hours to catch the perp, have the perp turn himself in.
Yeah. It's weird, man. It is weird. Should we play some more clips?
Yeah, do you want to get into this little historical ditty?
Sure.
About Argentina?
Sure.
So there are 5 clips. They're just numbered 1 through 4 and then a rap. And this is, if we don't go down the path of just a general malaise with sporadic political assassinations, which is, you know, if you subscribe to my idea that, and it's not my idea, but if you subscribe to the idea that America is just a bunch of spiritual Eeyores, then that is what will happen, is we'll just, general apathy will remain, and anyone who gets prominent and starts making a difference politically, they'll be killed, and their families, if they have one, will be left fatherless and husbandless, maybe motherless and wifeless. But if there's actually a response to this, and it's the worst case scenario response other than the general malaise, I think this is a historical example of what could happen. So these are called AAA because this focuses on the organization, the Argentine Anti-Communist Alliance. Number 1.
At the final return of Perón in June, there was a pitched battle between right and left at Ezeiza International.
Is that?
I should have set this up a little bit better as far as historical context. You're going to hear about a guy called Perón. Perón, Juan Domingo Perón, was an Argentinian president. He was president once and allied himself with leftists, and then was exiled, supported leftist causes and communist causes. Then, when he was brought back from exile, basically turned on the left and the communists because they weren't of use to him anymore. I mean, really a true power political figure, you know, just was going to align himself with whomever and whatever helped him achieve his goals.
Sure.
Or whomever or whatever had the best offer for funding from international venues at the time in the 70s. But anyway, that's a little bit of backstory here. You're going to hear about him and how he plays into this, but you should be able to pick up the rest and put the pieces together.
Gotcha.
At the final return of Perón in June, there was a pitched battle between right and left at Ezeiza International Airport. The Union leadership and José López Rega, an associate of Perón, launched a violent anti-leftist campaign through a death squad organization, the Argentine Anti-Communist Alliance, also known as AAA, which had the discreet support of Perón himself. Even though Perón has officially supported Peronists and other communist-leaning groups, he himself did not share their ideology and only tried to use them as a source of regaining power. In July, President Campora resigned, and new elections were presided over by another interim president, Raúl Lastiri, who began a purge of leftist influences in the government. The elections were held in October 1973, and Perón was elected president with his third wife, Isabel Perón, as vice president. The official comeback to the government was complete.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So that's how Perón gets back into power, but at this point, he sees the leftists and the communists as a problem. So, number 2.
After taking office, Perón continued the campaign against his previous allies on the left. AAA squads began to crack down on political, student, and union leaders. Argentina was in a state of virtual civil war. Leftist communists kidnapped and publicly executed high-ranking political and military leaders, and attacked and bombed broadcasting stations and military posts. Extremists of the right, including police and military personnel, formed death squads and killed leftists. Increasingly close relations with the US military contributed to anti-communism. The United States trained Argentine army officers and provided anti-insurgency training in the fight against the internal enemy. The anti-communism of the Argentine officers was strengthened by their commitment to Roman Catholicism. While not all officers were devout, they saw themselves as defenders of the church, especially of Christian ideals. An intense anti-communism, representing a worldview, an ideology, and even a self-definition, developed among the Argentine military. The political instability, turmoil, and terrorism in Argentina greatly threatened the military's view of itself as a protector of the nation's traditions, well-being, and public order. The military came to see it as their primary role to protect the state from subversion by alien forces and ideas, preserve essential Argentine values, and maintain internal purity. The military attacked all who might possibly, even in the remotest way, be or become the enemy.
Got to be a party man.
That's right. And, this isn't an exact parallel because of the political turmoil in Argentina that led up to this. But if you just extrapolate a little bit, you could take the turmoil from 2020 and say, well, that seems kind of similar.
Right. They're burning
So
down
let's
America.
continue in this, this shining example of what we want the U.S. to be. Number 3.
Perón's second term in power, for which he waited nearly 18 years, was not meant to last. After only 1 year of governance, Perón died in July 1974 and left his wife a deeply compromised inheritance. Isabel Perón, being a vice president, was the first in line to take office. She became the world's first woman president. The government became even more oriented toward the right, and violence reached new heights. Despite the extreme right-leaning approach which was favored by the military, the generals still could not accept the woman being their leader. On March 24, 1976, military officers deposed the president and took over the government. A 3-man military junta filled the presidency, with General Jorge Rafael Videla taking the lead. The junta closed the National Congress, imposed censorship, banned trade unions, and brought state and municipal government under military control. Meanwhile, Videla initiated a campaign against suspected dissidents.
Man.
All right, number 4.
Cold-hearted lady.
Throughout the country, the regime set up hundreds of clandestine detention camps where thousands of people were jailed and persecuted. At the same time, Peronists, who called themselves the Montoneros after the betrayal of their leader, resisted by engaging in hit-and-run assaults, bombings, and attacks on political offices, broadcasting stations, and even military installations. They killed about 600 military officers, government officials, business executives, and even labor leaders. In turn, right-wing bands, including the army and police, were killing left-wing leaders. There was an increasing cycle of violence. The Alianza Anticomunista Argentina, formed in 1974, even murdered priests suspected of left-wing sympathies. This cycle of violence made ever greater violence seem necessary and acceptable. It contributed to the evolution of the military's ideology, its perception of extreme threat, and its extreme devaluation of all opponents. The result was the arrest, torture, and murder of real and supposed enemies, and even of persons who happened to be in a house from which a supposed subversive was kidnapped.
Collateral.
Yeah.
You know, his wife taking over reminds me of Kirk's wife stepping into the limelight, giving that speech, doing the things that she's been doing since his assassination.
I heard Shapiro say he was going to take over for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he really didn't say that from what I can tell.
Okay.
He said that he would pick up the bloodstained microphone. I don't think that means he's offering to take over TPUSA. Now, what I will say is TPUSA, Kirk supposedly was in discussions or had been approached for TPUSA to be funded by AIPAC or some Jewish organization, maybe some subsidiary of the Daily Wire, which is a Jewish organization.
Yeah.
And that's what Candace Owens has really gripped onto with every inch of her fake nails.
She was trying to say that there was this meeting in California with Bill Ackman, and it was an intervention, is how she framed it.
Yes, an intervention.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, he would have had to have radicalized against Israel very fast.
Yeah, well, did you hear the clip of him on Megyn Kelly?
I didn't, but I heard Megyn Kelly talking with MTG, and they were discussing this very thing, and I figured it was probably pretty similar to her discussion with Charlie Kirk.
I'll play it. It's 2 minutes, but he says something at the end that no person in Israel would ever want to hear their golden boy say.
I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
Though. No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character.
It's like the people that are going to jail that like, I love my life. I will never kill myself. If you see me hanging from something, inquire. That's kind of how that sounds to me.
But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper-paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of compensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
He calls them Nazis, basically. That was the big thing. The state of Israel are Nazis.
Can you run back the last 30 seconds of that?
Yeah.
Because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb, right?
Oh. He kind of said the opposite of what I thought he said.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he is saying that you'd have to be dumb to ignore the influence in America.
Yeah, he's talking about the text and tweet campaign that went after him. It's Hasbara right there. That's what it is. So, yeah, and, to Candace Owens, I believe she's authentic, maybe, in her claims. I think she definitely likes a lot of views and people looking at her. But, she's full on convinced that it was Israel that took out Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Yes, she is. And like I said, we'll never know. I don't think he had gone far enough off of the reservation. I don't doubt for a second that if he had started to say, AIPAC is a problem, Israel needs to be ostracized, they're committing genocide, and with as much influence as he has, I have not a doubt in my mind Israel would have found a way to silence him. I don't think he was that far off the reservation yet.
You might be right. So here's what I'm seeing, right? Globally speaking, things are heating up. I hate that I said right. Jesus. Stop that right now. Globally, things are heating up. We're looking like World War III might be around the corner a little bit. Russia's floating drones into Polish airspace. Russia, air quotes, is floating drones into Polish airspace. Two of the most major countries in Europe or the European region, England and France, are having these large-scale protests that are occurring. And a significant cultural icon in America has been assassinated getting people to contemplate the idea and just the possibility of how close we are to a civil war. It would make a lot of sense for a country like Russia or a country like China to want to destabilize these bastions of the West. That being said, what does Charlie Kirk's death also do? It makes a bunch of people that are usually pro-military looking for a fight and ready for a fight. Maybe wanting to fight, even if that is, JFK gets assassinated, now go shoot a bunch of Vietnamese in the jungle. I don't know. But there's something greater to Charlie Kirk dying than just a random tranny lover shooting him. I'm almost convinced of that. What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna repeat you back to yourself. I don't know how many hours ago or how many episodes it was ago. You're a podcaster, man. No,
You're supposed to have
You're
opinions.
supposed to know.
You're supposed to know. Well, what I do know is that Charlie Kirk is dead.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters at this point, is that Charlie Kirk has been assassinated, and like Sam Hyde said, it may not be the next 2 weeks, but the next few weeks are going to be extremely critical for plotting the trajectory of America. And if the trajectory is truly plotted by, we've got to do something about hate speech, we're in for big trouble.
What's interesting is in 2020, there is I forget what it was about, something about injustice, and it was like, stand up, fight back was what they were saying. If the right all of a sudden starts chanting stand up, fight back, that is going to be, oh my God, that is horribly violent. All those words, all of this. I remember
domestic terrorism.
Yeah, like racist lives don't matter. Punch a Nazi. And I think where the left went up is they went around calling people fascists and Nazis, and then they shot the most moderate of the right, Charlie Kirk. And what's going to happen is now you're going to get the real Nazis. You're going to get the real fascists. That's what's going to come, because you call the guy a Nazi and a fascist. You killed him, and he wasn't that at all. So, yeah. I'm worried for my
almost
nation.
A self-fulfilling prophecy.
I'm worried for my nation. I'm worried. I'm telling the left what they need to do. You need to condemn the shooting. You need to say that's awful. The celebrations are awful. I love you. I am not those people. That's what you need to do. You don't need to say you guys are responsible for this environment, because that just breeds more rage. And
yeah,
I'm a reasonable person. I love my wife and my small family that's starting off soon, but I was filled with rage. I had some very, very dark, bad thoughts. But I've asked for forgiveness from my Lord and Savior, and I've been shown the proper way.
Your words ring in my head. You're a podcaster. You're supposed to know. But as much as there is to say about something like this, we also stated earlier, you either knew when it happened or you didn't.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's going to be any coming to Jesus moments. I think the come to Jesus moment was Charlie Kirk being shot. And everybody feels the way they're going to feel about it now.
Right. It's like one of those things when it comes to black people were talking about in 2020, like you'll never fully understand, and the white people, that was the proper way of, it was like the proper greeting is, while I'll never fully understand, I empathize, with it.
I still need to say something.
Exactly. I think that's what this is. I think they'll never fully understand. They think they understand. They think they can pull up these equivalents, these moral equivalents, but they don't. It doesn't exist. At least in the last 50 years, nothing like this exists for the left to compare to.
No, and they're not very good at history anyway either.
That's right.
Do we have anyone to thank tonight? Do you have anything else on this?
We got a lot of people to thank. A lot of donations, a lot of boosts were coming in. So we should do that. Are you okay if we thank some people and then get out of here?
I don't want to make a habit of that, but tonight I think that would be okay.
Because, I mean, I'll tell you what's going on around the world. People are protesting in Europe. England, Unite the Kingdom was held, and it's the same shit that we're hearing every week. The Block Everything in France is donating, or is protesting, sorry. I'm reading the troll room and talking. And that pretty much everything I just covered is the major stuff. And then Trump announced that he was going to send the National Guard to Memphis, Tennessee. That's the news outside of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
We killed another drug boat.
We killed another drug boat. And you know what? Before we thank some people, I'm going to play this first post from Palki Shawarma. For those that are listening the first time this week, I know that's a lot of you. This is not a normal show. Like, we usually play a lot more clips.
We should have said that off the bat.
Right. We cover a lot more topics. We play a lot more clips. It's usually more geopolitical focused.
Talk as much.
No, it's usually more clips and less talking. But and
we usually know more as well.
I think this is good. I think it's good. I think what we're doing right now is, and I want to sound like vain.
Therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. And it's kind of like God's work in a sense of, this is a traumatic thing.
No, that's pretty vain.
Well, I feel like no one has created a spot where people can actually talk about it, talk through their feelings, you know what I mean, in a sensible way. And so I'm sure that it exists, but
look out, everybody, Dan's got a rifle.
For my people, for our people, for these people here, I know a lot of them feel the same way. I felt your rage, I felt your anger, and I felt your sadness, and it affected me. It affected me. I shed tears this week. I shouted this week. I shouted at a poor guy. That just was, I feel bad for that. But it is part of this healing process, and it's good to have it. So if you are at a spot where you're very angry or you're very sad, my email is dan@mmo.show, and I will be happy to talk to you. So thank you very much. But that being said, Arab NATO. Did you hear about Arab NATO?
Well, I mean, we've talked about Arab NATO, even though we didn't call it that, but that's obviously the best name for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Arab NATO. That would be a hell of a movie. It's like Sharknado, except there's just a bunch of guys with AK-47s and Helix trucks flying around, shooting people. All right, so Arab NATO.
Just shawarma flying everywhere.
Shawarma. Oh my God, is that rain? No, it's hummus. All right, here's Palki Shawarma to talk about Arab NATO.
It's quite the busy Monday in Doha. Arab and Muslim world leaders have gathered in the Qatari capital. The reason? An emergency summit. A summit of the Arab League and the OIC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. And what is it about? Well, officially, it's a response to Israel's strike on Qatar. The one that happened last week. We told you about it. Israel attacked Doha, the capital of Qatar. Yeah. It said it was targeting Hamas leaders who lived in Doha. Well, the attack failed to kill them, but it enraged the Arab and Muslim world. Qatar called it a breach of sovereignty. It said the Israeli strike was cowardly.
Israel claims to be a democracy surrounded by enemies, while in reality it is building an occupation and apartheid system hostile to its surroundings and waging a war of extermination during which it has committed crimes that know no red lines.
So officially, the meeting was about this strike, but unofficially, it has become a stage for something far more ambitious. There are talks of a joint Arab Islamic Military Force, or as they call it, an Arab NATO. And the idea itself is not new, by the way. It was first floated by Egypt back in 2015. That's when the Yemen war began, so Egypt proposed a joint force to coordinate between Arab armies. But it did not take off. There was too much skepticism and mistrust. And that was 10 years back. Today, the picture is remarkably different. Israel has crossed a new line. It has been fighting wars in this region for decades, but bombing Doha is a first. It's not the same as attacking Gaza or Beirut. This is a wealthy Gulf capital, a top American ally, and a key mediator in the Gaza war.
There you go, a step too far. They've crossed an invisible line. I think I know a little bit of what the Arab countries might be feeling. But finally, a couple of more additional details as to how it would work. Where do you think they want to locate this NATO, like the solid base? And where, you're going to laugh when you hear it. Where do you think, out of all of the Arab world, they want to put this Arab NATO base with military, tanks, Air Force, and Navy?
You said I'm going to laugh?
Well, I mean, it's not obvious, but you'll know that a certain group of people are not going to be cool with it.
Amman, Jordan.
No, not quite, but close.
So the Arab Muslim world is furious, and suddenly an Arab NATO does not sound like such a bad idea. Leading the charge again is Egypt. They floated the idea of a Cairo-based command.
Cairo.
They want the first commander to be
striking
an Egyptian.
distance.
After all, Egypt has West Asia's biggest army. But it won't be all Egypt. They've
counterbalance,
proposed
if you
rotating
will.
leadership, meaning all Arab League members will get a chance to take charge. The idea is to create a joint military force complete with air, land, and naval units, also special operations teams trained for counter-terrorism and peacekeeping. But is all of this symbolism, or will it lead to real action?
If they're all doing counterterrorism, who's going to be who do we have doing the terrorism?
And I'll tell you why I ask this. The Arab world has no shortage of summits or calls for solidarity. What it lacks is execution. And then there's the lack of consensus. Everyone wants something different here. Iran wants all Muslim countries to sever ties with Israel. Egypt wants hard military infrastructure in Cairo. And Qatar wants legal guarantees for its sovereignty. How do you reconcile all these demands? How do you stitch them into one coherent strategy?
Donald Trump.
But let's for a moment assume that they pull it off. Then they will face their next challenge, the United States of America. For decades, the U.S. has been the security guarantor in West Asia. Its bases stretch from Kuwait to Bahrain to Qatar. And now Arab leaders are openly wondering if the U.S. will step up to protect them. And in case you're wondering, the U.S. did condemn Israel's strike in Doha, but only in the mildest of terms. And then Secretary of State Marco Rubio landed in Israel. He'll soon be heading to Qatar. So to float the proposal of an Arab NATO during this visit may be a polite message to Washington. If you won't defend us, we will defend ourselves.
I think this is going to play well with Trump, if I'm being honest with you. We've talked about how the U.S. wants to get out of being the kind of the world police in the Middle East and hand that over to Israel. And I think Trump sees, an Arab NATO that's just going to pester Israel this whole time. That's a great deal for us. Maybe they'll stop killing our political commentators. But it's a pipe dream. Trust me, I know. I have hopes and dreams, but I know the likelihoods of them being rather low. But Cairo is like, it's like, can you get a major city any closer to Israel? My God.
Yeah, Amman.
That would be something. Amman, Jordan.
We're going to put it in Gaza.
You know, that Dead Sea's not very wide. Oh, well, that's not going to work out.
At first, my second thought was, no way he's going to say Beirut.
That would be funny, too. Yeah, they're doing a Muslim NATO, and it's going to be in Iran. Everyone's cool with that? Okay, good. Very well. Let's thank some people.
Okay. Oh, hey, but before we do that,
yeah,
don't hit that dial. Since we're kind of talking about Israel, did you see the 50 states one Israel meeting?
I saw something about 250 senators over in Israel.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. Just want to let people know that that's a thing. 250 American senators, the largest ever U.S. contingent of American representatives, people who represent American citizens, visited Israel together. The name of this event was 50 States, One Israel.
You know, I think a lot of people that were downplaying this Israel has control over the United States, I think a lot of people this past week have started to shift hard and actually kind of see and pay attention to what's happening with Israel.
Well, you know what this was. This was, for all of its pomp and circumstance, they got every one of these senators from each state in the United States in a closed meeting, and they said, hey, Bill, we're happy to write these checks for you. You know, we love that you can do what you do for your family and that you're able to make a good living representing your American citizens. That comes with responsibilities. And those responsibilities are to educate your constituents on the importance of America's friendship with Israel. And, you know, we think there's going to be a lot of consternation in the coming months. A lot of people, a lot of young people especially, they're misled, they're misguided on Israel. For God's sake, they think we're killing women and children. And you're going to have to play a crucial role in helping guide them to the right path, to realize that we are one another's best allies.
And why those women and children needed to die. They started. The kids were running around the women. We were afraid that an Arab NATO might spring out.
Yes. I think I posted this or sent it to you. I don't have it in my show notes. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but something like 120 at least children were documented in Gazan hospitals to have bullets lodged in their heads, which indicate that they were shot from long distances, so the bullet had lost enough
velocity
enough
to enter
force.
but not exit.
Yeah. Yep. Children under 4, 120.
God's chosen people. There you have it. That's great. Got number one ally.
Millennial Media.
Offensive.
Well, you are riding along on the offensive, rather depressing episode a little bit, but a cathartic episode, I think, therapeutic.
That's your favorite word tonight, cathartic.
Well, it's been a rough week. I think everyone had a very everyone that I care about had a very rough week, I think. So, I feel it. I feel everyone. We're just happy along you're on the offensive. Having a little bit of, I guess our stream is having some issues tonight. I have been.
Well, yeah. Have you listened to yourself?
What do you mean?
Just joking about the amount of control.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we've been having some technical issues, so thank you for everyone that's stuck around with us. But I've been tooling on that and trying to get it to.
You're recording this episode, right?
Yeah, I'm recording it, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Just trying to make sure that everything is running smoothly, and it has not been tonight. So I thank everyone that's been sharing the links to YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, all of which we are live on, as well as the actual audio stream that I run on my network. I need to figure out what's going on with that. I've tried a bazillion times. I might have to just finally bite the bullet and buy some server space in Abu Dhabi or something. But
in the Arab NATO?
Yeah, in the Arab NATO. Oh no, our stream was taken out by the Arab NATO.
Our servers melted because Ethiopia closed the dam.
That's right. Could happen. It could happen. But that being said, we don't have advertisers. We instead rely on our audience. And by our audience, I mean the people that are in the chat room and the people that are on their tractors or in their trucks or working out on the treadmill, listening to us and having this conversation along with us. That being said, there are many ways to attribute or to give that value back to us, including submitting art, submitting articles, providing information. Boobs and Beer, for one, he sent me the Charlie Kirk video. I have a hard copy of it, at least one angle. And he also sent me the text exchange right as the show is kicking off, so it's much appreciated on that front. Or you can go to mmo.show/donate and find one of the ways to donate to Fiat. We're on Venmo, we're on PayPal, we're on Cash App, and Stripe as well. And we also accept little bits of Bitcoin, which John will let you know. But the first person that we always like to thank is the person that submitted the art from the previous episode. And it was, once again, another woof banger.
I've completely forgotten what it was.
Episode 185 was entitled, and usually we don't have the title be related to the art. So we've got three pieces. We've got the little opening jingle thing that we do. We've got the art,
Yeah.
and then we have the title. We broke one of the rules last week and made our title and our art the same. Yeah, 185 is We've Been Hit, and it was in reference to the flotilla that was hit by a drone. Greta Thunberg.
Thornberry? Are you about to call her Greta Thornberry?
Yeah, Donnie Thornberry. That's it. That's a good one. Anyways, the title was We've Been Hit and was reference to that, and the art piece was We've Been Hit, and it features an old wooden boat comprised mostly of veggie burgers, saying that the reason why...
On fire.
Yeah, the reason why the flotilla fired a drone, which was the cause of We've Been Hit and the fire on board. They fired it because they were
not a drone.
That's right. They fired it because they were out of veggie burgers, and that was a cause. Yeah. Their vegan soy burgers were out, and they needed to be resupplied by the Tunisian Navy.
By the way, future father, babies love if you can do a good Donnie Thornberry
impression.
You got some work to do.
Okay. I will take that into consideration in council. But this is by Wolf. It's a good piece. I think what is on the words there?
It's little veggies.
Oh, vegetables. He found a vegetable font. How fun.
Of course he did.
How fun. He never slacks on his font game, that's for sure. The art may be AI, but those fonts are hard fought for on the internet. So it's always appreciated. Wolf, you always seem to take the ideas we have and make something great out of it. I have a feeling that we gave you a pretty good one just now, that you might come back with something. So there's that. So thank you, Wolf. If you got an idea for art tonight, feel free to send that to dan@mmo.show and john@mmo.show. Operators are standing by to look at and accept your art. We have a couple of fiat donations to go through here. And starting off with Trashman at the top of the list, came in through PayPal for $34.36. Says there are hundreds of thousands of laws, rules in the U.S. alone. With federal, state, city, etc., you'll always be breaking someone's law, especially as the end approaches. Who do you love and follow? Whose laws do you break, man's or God's? Who do we fight for and against? Two masters can't be had. Remember Daniel in the lion's den and his friends in the fiery furnace after openly defying man's law. I'll just be one of the good old boys. Thank you, Trashman. Always deep. Always deep and appreciated.
Always good to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Love hearing from him. Sam S. of Beargrass and Burblandia came in through PayPal with $31 and says, support MMO and stay OTO. Love y'all. Thank you, sir. Weirdo came in through Cash App with 2222, and he says, OTO. And I say...
On the offensive.
Right back at you. Thank you, sir. Sir Scandinavian came in with $20, and he came in through Stripe, actually, and he said, you got me at almost being fired by a Karen on LinkedIn. Sir Scandinavian. Thank you very much, sir. C. Brooklyn 112 came in through Cash App with $5, and he says, OTO.
On the offensive.
Thank you, sir. And the Nail Lord of Gaylord came in through Venmo for $5 and says, Nlog, OTO.
On the offensive.
Whomever tricked Adam Curry into reading an MMO promo last week is a genius. Get them boomers with guerrilla warfare. Only try. And funny you should say they're a genius, because that person is me.
Yeah, it was really good. It was well done.
I liked it. You should go back to listen to Thursday's No Agenda episode in the meetup, I guess, report segment, and you'll hear what we're talking about. It was well received. So thank you very much. That does it for our Fiat Donators. Do you remember the boost? Do you have the boost pulled up?
I do have the boost pulled up, but before I start with the boost, I would like to say that next week will be Dan's birthday.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Sorry, I was a week late.
That's all right.
Tomorrow is Dan's birthday, so if you want to send a donation to celebrate Dan's birthday, you can send his age, I guess I should just say his age. You could also send his maybe not his birth weight, but maybe his current weight. That would be good.
$3,000.
Boy weighs a ton.
That's right. And a half.
Yeah, it is a ton and a half. Yes. If you want to celebrate Dan's birthday, feel free to donate for that. We are also 2 shows away from the end of the quarter, which, if you haven't gotten your donations in, if you haven't provided value back to the show for this quarter, consider donating. Consider it an opportunity to support people who are at risk of being shot and killed. Yet we remain.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, and programming note, Pfeiffer sent me a note and said he does not want his boost read.
Well, that's convenient.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was going to read it. M. Red comes in with the Bag Daddy boost. Get your jingle ready. 10,000 Satoshis. And says, great episode. I gotta get in the right mindset. Great episode, that last one. Thanks for all the value. Point of clarification. No affiliation with the devil or Crowley's legacy, nor I'm aware of a devil emoji on my fountain name. Although the history of ideas is one of my great passions, the concept of the devil being one of many ideas that shape our world. The 666 donation actually was in reference to your guys' brief discussion about said number a few episodes ago. Quote, let him who have understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number.
Ooh, I like that. Señor Red, muchas gracias, señor.
And if you're a post-millennialist, you think that human number meant Nero. Coink, are you going to do Baghdaddy?
Oh, yeah.
Baghdaddy.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Baghdaddy.
Thank you, sir.
CoinCat comes in with 5,000 Satoshis, raises her hand, and says, I also cannot spell millennial. Millennial.
It's tough.
Thank you, CoinCat.
Yeah, thank you very much.
2 L's, 2 N's. You figure out where to put them. Mary Kate Ultra sends 5,000 Satoshis and says, U.S., U.S., U.S.
It's the flag code, so it was 3 American flags.
Oh, well, that's what I said. Trail Chicken sends 3,333 Satoshis and says, welcome back. Stay on the offensive and sign up for the newsletter. Bark, bark. Yes, I have to get back on the newsletter. It's a real struggle for me to do a newsletter. But I feel like when I do, people appreciate it. So sign up, and you may be surprised by a newsletter at mmo.show/newsletter. Lavish comes in with 3,333 Satoshis and says, "Get found."
That's right.
Bully Steed comes in with 3,333 Satoshis and says, "Nothing says lies like a disparate and inconsistent facts."
Amen.
Remain on the offensive. Hashtag MMO, hashtag OTO.
On the offensive.
I feel like facts may stand for something there. It's all caps, FACTS. I don't know. Clarify, Bully Steed, please. DJW comes in with his trademark 1976 donation and says, "OTO,
on the offensive.
Be sure to see Dan for all your Meetup Report audio balancing needs." A little off topic for the evening, but is the Mesh Network radio donation still a thing? Y'all be good.
Absolutely. You send us $100,
Yeah.
We'll send you a radio.
Yeah, we'll send you a Mesh Network radio. I very much enjoy carrying mine around with me and just seeing if I ever ping a network.
I wanted to bring a couple to bear hunting in northern Minnesota, but alas, I couldn't find my other one. I was kind of upset about it. I also forgot the walkie-talkies. Would have been good.
Liberty Gibbet comes in with 1,000 Satoshis and says OTO. OTO to you, Liberty Gibbet.
On the offensive?
Pfeiffer comes in with 777 Satoshis and does not wish for his note to be read.
Thank you, Pfeiffer.
Salty Crayon comes in with 333 Satoshis and says, "Cash Patel looks like every time he does an interview, he just came from Pablo Escobar's house." OTO. Yes,
on
he
the
does.
offensive.
Yeah, those bug
Thank
eyes.
you, Salty Crayon. Yeah, he's a weirdo. I mean, he's not the weirdo. We've got the weirdo, here.
weirdo,
Maybe he is the. You've met weirdo, so he's not the weirdo.
Weirdo's
But he is.
eyes are much kinder and relaxed.
Uh,
But his hair
Whiter,
is
I
his
believe,
hair. Weirdo's hair is like Cash Patel's eyes. It's crazy.
Yes. If you're wondering why we're reading these donations, it's because people feel the need to donate to this show because we don't subjugate them to stupid, moronic ad reads.
Boom.
We don't do it.
No.
We refuse to do it. It's to me, when I'm watching something and I get a commercial, an ad, the same guy telling me about the history of, I don't know, death squads in Argentina, and he starts talking to me about a pair of underwear that has a pouch for my penis, I consider it a gross insult to my intelligence. I don't want to hear what you're trying to sell. I know you have to make a living, but why don't you just make content good enough that people feel like supporting you?
Get those ads
I don't want
out
to
of
hear
here.
about your pouch drawers, your kangaroo drawers. I don't want to hear about it.
We want to hear about grizzly bears with tits.
We do sometimes.
Deep cut. Deep joke.
That is a deep cut. That is a deep cut. But yes, we don't run ads. We don't accept, I almost said we don't accept donations. We do accept donations. We don't accept sponsorships because we consider sponsorships to be self-censorship inherently, full stop. So we ask you out there listening, if you get any value from this, consider what it's worth to you. Send it back to us. A good way to visualize it is a feedback loop, a value feedback loop. This show didn't cost you anything but some time and maybe a little bit of brain power, maybe some emotional intelligence tonight. But we're not asking you to pay us up front. We're not putting a value on this. We're asking you to put a value on it. And send that to us. Let us know what you think it's worth. As long as people are letting us know that it's worth something to them, that's our call to keep on the offensive, and we will remain on the offensive until people stop telling us that this is a valuable product.
I agree with that. Now, the question to you is, do we play the second half jingle or do we just play the outro?
Play the second half jingle.
And
we'll say a few things, and then you drop. We'll just kind of banter for a second, and then you drop the outro whenever you think is necessary.
Gotcha.
Get it on.
You know, it's really funny. When I used to tell people I have a podcast, and the only podcast they listen to is like S-Town or those like produced stories from NPR. And then they hear ours where we're kind of like producing it live, and I'm asking you questions like, should I do this or that?
How do you want to do this?
Yeah, people are like, oh, it's not a very good podcast. It's like, no, it's a live show. It's a fun live show, and then we just publish it. And it's
that's it.
It's the only way that we can make a show in a timely manner and not have to spend a week editing it.
Yeah, because we're not so self-absorbed that we think we're full-time podcasters when we're both in our 30s.
Right. You know, I do scrub out all the F-bombs that John drops, and so most of the people that listen to the recordings, they think you're just like this kind, moral guy, but you got a potty mouth. Mm-hmm. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's me.
No,
that's me right there. I really wanted to read that boost.
I just want to play this Memphis clip here. So the Trump has said they're sending the National Guard to Memphis, it was a 50-50 shot if it was going to be Memphis or St. Louis, and I think St. Louis is going to be next. But I'll play Trump's announcement. This is from Reuters.
I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, and it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them, step by step, just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now. This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here, and you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. But we're sending in the big force now. We also sent them into Chicago on a sort of a moderate basis, and we brought down crime a little bit in Chicago, but we're now going to bring it down very big. We're going to be doing Chicago probably next.
You said it was going to be a template, and it is a template.
Yep.
Can you feel the energy? Come on, come on.
Oh, we predicted that. Oh, we predicted that. We predicted that. Oh, we predicted that. We predicted that. Oh, we predicted.
You know, I hope people listen this far that are new to the show and realize that most of the time our show is very back and forth, ping-ponging off of one another, playing clips, having a good time, and not lamenting the potential future states of America in which there's a general bloodlust every day when you go outside.
Right.
That's not our shtick most of the time. But when something like this happens, we're probably going to talk about it in a way that tries to help people cope with what it could mean for the future of America.
Right.
And the future of the world, honestly.
Yeah, we're, as you heard, John, we don't know. We're holding our breaths as much as you guys are as well, but we're here for it.
And buying ammo.
And I would like to make a point on that because I was told by somebody that when I say keep one in the chamber,
mystery sources.
When I say keep one in the chamber, that's a threat. When I say keep one in the chamber, that's a preparedness message. That is saying be prepared for when the smoke finds you. Be ready to extinguish the smoke when the smoke gets to you. Don't go looking for smoke, but have the extinguisher ready. That's what keep one in the chamber means. That being said, it is a heightened time, and I know a lot of people feel like they want something to protect them. I have found a way to, well, it's not a way, anyone can do it, but if you send me an email, I will get you a way to build a gun that's great for home defense and potentially more than that as well, for a very inexpensive price, relatively speaking. I've got a parts list for you. You send me an email. I'm not going to put it out there where any old crazy person can find it, and then see in the news that there's a mass shooting and they used my parts list, and now the FBI's up my ass. But I will also deem if I think you're mentally stable enough for it, which I believe most, if not all of you are. And I will send you the parts list for it, and it'll be just a good way to be prepared, and to make sure that you're ready in the event that our country goes south. And I don't want that. I'm praying for the exact opposite of that. But if it does go south, I want the people that I care about and the people that listen to the show to be prepared and ready for it. So that is my offer to you.
You should, and that's the thing. I hope everyone out there, instead of just looking to your online communities, has actually talked with the people you love about this. My wife and I have conversations like this because we enjoy talking to one another about things like this generally, even when they aren't this momentous. But we had a very in-depth discussion, and we don't have as many of those when you have kids, just because you got them around all the time, and you should be in a more playful mood when you have kids around, and you are most of the time, or we are. But you can really come to the right decision by talking to people in your life that you love and being honest with them about how something makes you feel, and just finding out where they are on it. I think that's something that people, they look to their communities online maybe before they look to their family and even their spouses sometimes. And sometimes you just got to refocus.
Yeah.
You can still have your communities. You can still be involved in the edge posting and all of this stuff that you do online. But sometimes you really do just have to step back and say, hey, this, more than anything, this teaches me that the people that I love are most important.
Yeah. God, family, country. That's what Charlie Kirk.
In that order.
Yeah, everyone is sharing that Charlie Kirk post, and amen is all I can say.
But which country, Charlie?
God, family, podcast, country. Folks, we will be back. We'll do a normal show next week. God willing. God willing, we can do a normal show next week. I'll have the stream fixed. Guarantee. Yeah. Surly Mofo points out what I just said right before the outro. What I'm saying is you need a chamber to keep one in there, If you have no chamber, you can't keep one in the chamber.
Yeah. Well, Dan, if anybody ever succeeds in putting that final piece of lead in me, I just hope you won't let people slander me, and you'll make sure my wife and kids are taken care of.
John, if we lose you, we're going to lose half the country.
What, are you calling me a coward?
No. If I'm dead, you've been dead for weeks. That's always been one of my favorite lines. I will defend your honor.
Very good. Now, what some people may also be learning at this point is that we have the longest outro in podcast.
That's right.
It's basically a fourth segment.
It gives us a chance to decompress and just think.
Oh, Is it therapy?
It's therapeutic. It's cathartic. Oh, this show.
And by the time this is over, it'll be a normal length show.
That's right. That's right. But until next time, I have been Dan Gehring.
And I'm still John G. Dew.
And in a non-threatening way, if you have a firearm, make sure you have one in the chamber, because you never know when you might need to use it. So be prepared. Much like you would wear a seatbelt, keep one in the chamber. Not a threat, just preparedness for your health, for your family's health. Even if you're on the left, I recommend it. See you next Tuesday. MMO out. All right. That's a podcast, huh? Oh, the stream is terrible. I don't know what's wrong with it. I think I need to completely trash what I have and just build from the ground up. Which Claude did. I was saying, hey, this app.py file is a little big. Can we separate it out into separate components? And it's like, sure. And then, it does it. And it was like, oh, did you mean like all of the components? Like you didn't want me to just keep, some of the base core stuff and delete everything else that you've been working on for months. Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't do that. Oh, did you make a backup for it? No. Like, God bless it. I'm going to, enough
You
of
pay for this thing?
I do. I pay for Claude. This is one instance where it did. Yeah, the stream was bad today, Eric PP. I'm aware. Thank you. I'm aware. I am fully aware. So it did that to me, and I was like frantically last night. I was like, I don't care about your limits. You screwed this up. You're gonna fix it. I'm like, I have to go to bed tonight, as I have to do a podcast tomorrow. It was like, oh, your limit resets at midnight. I'm like, you bastard. So I thought I got it into a pretty good state and everything functioning, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I need to look at the logs. Are you using Cursor, Nom? So I'm not using Cursor, but I do have Claude installed directly on my, in my terminal. I have it with the NPM package. So Claude does run the tests, and it verifies, and it moves files and stuff. But its internal memory is only so big, so when it's like cutting out parts of a file, the real issue that happened was it separated, it took the app.py, which is just a web app, and it separated them into HTML files and JavaScript functions and that kind of stuff. And that's what really screwed me, because it didn't copy everything. And it's just been like, it's working. I'm like, no, it's not. You're absolutely right. Claude does this thing where it says you're absolutely right every time I say something's wrong. And that just annoys you after a while. It's like the guy, like your dog just died or something like that, and you go to work on Monday, and he's like, happy Monday. And you just kind of want to punch him in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
not. I hate it. I hate the people who assume that everyone is miserable early in the week. Hey, how you doing this morning? Oh, it's Monday. Like, okay, what does that have to do with anything?
I am an astrologist, and my mood depends on the day of the week. The calendar dictates my happiness.
Yeah, dumb astrologist.
Yeah. At least the drops are short. Oh, thanks, weirdo. The silver lining there. Silver lining.
At least he doesn't hit me that hard.
I don't think it's a sample rate issue. Because I checked the sample rates when you said that, because I know we've had that before. But I am going to look at it for sure. I love Tuesdays. Mondays are all right for me. I don't like Mondays, and I'll tell you why. Because I know after a full day at work, I have to do a lot of clip pulling and cutting for tonight. All right, let's look at titles. I don't know. I think Arab NATO is definitely on that list. Title list. 1 week is gone. Poison against the poison. Milk toast commentator. The best except for Jesus Christ. The anti-bad guys. The tranny colony. America's Australia. Multicultural Haiti. That did strike me as particularly funny. Facebook brained. Facebook brained. No nipples. OWO. Spelled out. Right? Question mark. Arab NATO and Greta Thornberry.
If we don't do the Charlie show, then we do multicultural Haiti.
Okay. I would do the Charlie show. I think that's kind of on brand for what the show was.
That's definitely what it was.
Yeah. It's better than gay hose music. I prefer the gay. You guys are dicks. I love you, but you're dicks. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I need to figure that out. Let's look at what we have for ISO drops. This was the stream drop. And this was... Oh, we call ourselves the anti-bad guy, so everything that we do is justified by our name. That's what Antifa is. And let's see here.
Yeah. I mean, I know that you watched Notre Dame now this weekend. That's crazy, man. Did you catch the game this weekend?
Is that like when a guy brings something up and the response is just like, yeah, that's how so I was at, I went to Walgreens for Elise. She wanted to print some photos off. And she's so pregnant, I got to take her everywhere. And there was this old woman, two black girls. One is like a black girl. She's like 25, 30. The other one is like this 50-year-old woman. She's fat. She's sitting down. And I forget what they were talking about. They were talking about like Oreo Reese's Cups or whatever. and this old lady was like, yeah, them Oreo Reese's Cups, to me, they taste like there's more peanut butter in there. And the other cashier, the 30-year-old, is just like, wow, that's crazy. You could tell that's how the whole day went for her. Wow, that's crazy. It was pretty funny exchange. I was like, she hates herself, I can tell. She hates her life. Oh, we got some variations on Arab NATO. Wow, some of these are great. Oh, man, it's going to be tough. But he really leaned in hard to the Arab NATO.
Ooh, that is nice.
You know which one's the best? I think you know. Say on
the second one?
Yep. That's the best one by far. I'm going to pull it up.
The halal tornado is funny.
Those are funny as well. Oh, my God. He nailed it with that second one.
That is so good.
Yeah. Drop it in the chat room for those that are curious as well and not on the stream anymore. I don't know. Halal tornado. Schwarnado. The best part are his names too. Like they're usually pretty funny. I like the third one where it looks like Crunchwrap Supremes is pretty funny too. But yeah, that second one's the best. Okay. So we'll do the Charlie show and you want to do Wow, That's Crazy. Did you catch the game?
Let me hear it isolated.
Sure.
That's crazy, man. Did you catch the game this weekend? Yeah, I think it's apropos with Kirk being a really big item right now. And football season being back.
Yeah. I like it. Apropos. Oh. I believe FBI Cash. I believe. Let me check with sent.
It must be.
There we go. Let me cut out that spot where there's that brief drop.
Yeah, and it's.
You just got crispy a little bit. No, it's.
So that's what I've noticed from the left.
Okie dokie.
That's crazy, man. Did you catch the game this weekend?
It must be quite apparent.
That's crazy, man. Did you catch the game this weekend?
It must be quite apparent by this time to any thinking individual that the people of our country and people of other countries all over the world.
But this is you.
But this is you. All right, The Charlie Show?
Charlie Show.
What is this, 86? What are you laughing at?
Is the next piece of art he sent.
Dan Babyweight. Boobs. That might just be an evergreen. Makes no sense in any context whatsoever, but I love it. Boobs. Too good. Okay. Okay. 186. 186 episodes. And they've all been great.
They've all been great.
Except for that one that was dog shit.
It was recent, too.
I don't
know what these guys are doing.
That was more than a year ago.
I don't think it was.
What guys are doing?
In this art piece, there's just these guys, like,
holding
trying not to pee, it looks like.
It looks like. Now, I'm confused as to where this is taking place. And why is the baby's head that way? With the orientation of his body. The more I look at this photo, the less I like it.
Art piece.
I should have looked at it and closed it and said, that was great. Uh, 186, The Charlie Show. I think I should. Let me do this.
Apparently, Tucker is hosting a bunch of people right now on Twitter, and he, along with several others, are doubling down on asserting that Charlie was turning on Israel.
Well, this might be the story of the century. I mean, they can't kill us all, right? That's got to be Tucker's thought.
Just biological life, as though that's somehow the sum total of value is rejected.
Hey,
if you study
they've got nukes.
Who's oh? They could kill us
They
all.
can kill us all.
Yeah, I'm picked up what you're putting down.
There's the life of the soul. Many Americans don't even know that that exists. That's called psyche. It's the life, it's the most noble part of you, right? Even the Greek pagans, to use this again, knew that. The body is like a chariot and the soul is like the charioteer. Leading the person in nobility said that the body does virtue. The body does something beautiful, right? If you don't think you have psyche, if you think you're just a body and you don't have a soul, which, by the way, is the worldview of the major tech titans of our country. This is why someone as noble
Still live on Twitter?
Musk is
Yeah.
becoming would stand
I'm
up
playing the
and
audio
speak
from it.
to the
No, are
protesters
you
in
live?
England
Yeah.
when they were saying, "What can we do? What's our future?"
Should I
And
not
he
be?
said, "What?" He said,
You're live
"Technology
through Millennial
and
Media
AI.
Offensive on Twitter.
I promise
Yep.
you, Tucker, technology
Oh.
is not going to save us.
No.
It is not going to save us. And to say that is so hopeless. If
Okay,
we're
yeah, that's fine.
soulless and we have greater technology, then the soulless are going to use that greater technology to oppress us.
Of course.
We need to affirm what all reasonable human beings in civilized countries accept.
Yeah, the left
modern
is worried that we're
nuts,
turning this into
secular West.
spiritual
We don't
battle.
recognize that a human being is more than his body. He
They
has
should
more than
be.
bios,
Yeah.
more than biological life. He has the life of his soul, psyche, and
That's
then there's something
crazy.
that's most important, which is eternal life. Aeonia Zoe, it's called in the scriptures. Eternal life. This is the life of God's kingdom. These are the three fundamental lives.
Oh.
Two of them we have stopped talking about for many decades, and the consequences have been tragic.
What a wonderful explanation. Charlie Kirk was very interested in Orthodoxy.
I don't know who
I'm
this guy
sure
is.
You know, he was knowledgeable on it too. I'm not, but I know that. But I'm interested. But he was very interested in it. Were you aware of that?
He interviewed a friend of mine, Father John Strickland, who's a very respected Orthodox priest and a Russian scholar who's published extensively on Russian history. And Charlie was very interested in that. And I watched that interview and a few comments that he made afterwards, in which he actually got very much into the mind of us Orthodox Christians and explained why so many people are converting to Holy Orthodoxy. And I thought actually he was spot on, very much spot on. He said people are becoming Orthodox because they want something that is time tested. They want something that's substantial. Yes. They want something that actually informs culture,
Bingo.
Something that isn't just a plaything and can be categorized over just here. Or Orthodox Christianity, traditional Christianity in general, it is a lifestyle. It impacts everything because Christ is king. And he's king over every aspect of our life and over civilization. This is common knowledge. Europe, of course, you take a train through Europe. Every town you go through, you're going to go through a town that has the best land given to the church, and the church is going to be the highest building. Because everyone knew if you don't enthrone worship at the center of your community, if you don't make the heavenly attachment to your earthly life, you're robbing yourself of significance and you're trivializing yourself to just be limited to time. The best thing that can happen in America is that people go to church, root themselves in the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, because the river of life comes from the altar
read your Bible.
out the doors of the church and vivifies society. And do we ever need to be vivified today?
Beautiful. Father, thank you. And before you go, I'm gonna spell your name for anyone who's made it to the end of this. I never do this, but I think what you said is so wonderful that I know that people are going to want to follow up. Josiah Trenham, Trenham, senior pastor and director of your church. So I know that people will want to know more about you, and now they can. So thanks very much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Keep going, Tucker. Keep going.
Thank you very much. Well, we're gonna, and we will keep going. We'll see if this format works. I kind of like it. Thanks a lot for joining us for an hour and 50 minutes. We'll be back soon.
All right, that was it. That was kind of nice because I was like, have I just committed myself to streaming this thing to its completion? Stream to completion. All right, I'm going to stop the stream, folks. So if you're on